It's Brock, sir. Edward Brock Jr. I come before you today, humbled and humiliated, to ask you for one thing. I want you to kill Peter Parker.
Knock knock, let the devil in. The other month we saw Venom.
It's been a while.
It's been a while. So Aiden, what is the plot of Venom?
Venom is a Spider-Man spin-off that's not legally allowed to feature Spider-Man. And the plot is that there's Tom Hardy is a 13-year-old Girl Scout from Brooklyn in a 40-year-old man's body.
What?
That's how he talks the whole movie. He walks with a hunchback and he goes, "What's up, Mrs. Jane?" And he talks in like the fakest New York accent ever. He's like, "Yo, I'm from Brooklyn. I'm from Brooklyn, Mrs. Jane. Let me go to your convenience store, Mrs. Jane. I'm from Brooklyn." And that's like the whole movie. And then for some reason, some girl is like, "Hey,
His girlfriend?
the girl, the other girl,
the one
like,
that's played by like not Sarah Silverman,
Jenny Slate."
Jenny Slate, not Sarah Silverman.
She's like, "My boss is making evil aliens in his lab, and instead of just taking pictures myself, please risk your life to take pictures for me, Eddie Brock." And he's like, "Okay." And he goes there and he gets possessed by Venom, and then he kills a bunch of cops, and then Riz Ahmed from Rogue One,
Yeah,
and Nightcrawler gets infected by the other Venom who lands in China. Elon Musk. Indian Elon Musk. The other one lands in China. The other symbiote lands in China and crosses the entire country for no reason to infect Indian Elon Musk. And then Indian Elon Musk is like, "Hey, Venom."
No, because he was doing testing. I guess somehow he got
yeah,
tested on. Did he test on himself even though everyone died?
No, the other one came from China. It landed in China, and then it crossed the entire globe to get to Indian Elon Musk for no reason, and then it infected him.
But wait.
Okay, but anyway, it doesn't.
When does this happen? Whatever. Keep going.
And then Riot is like, "Okay, Venom, get on the spaceship so we can go back to our home planet and take over." And Venom is like, "Nah, fam." And instead of Riot just leaving and coming back with all of the symbiotes to take over the world, Riot is like, "Okay, let's fight." And then they fight.
They fight. Yeah.
And then...
Well, you gotta remember it.
Yep. So anyway, what did you think of Venom?
Thought Venom was really bad. Venom is a movie. I would say it's a movie that deserves to be made more than Aquaman. Now, I haven't seen Aquaman yet because it's not out.
Everything deserves to be made
But
more than Aquaman.
I think as a concept, Venom is more of a movie I can see being made than Aquaman. So you got that, but how Venom works without Spider-Man, not really, you know? Because the only villains Venom has not in common with Spider-Man are the symbiotes. And now I've never been a huge fan of Venom, comic book or otherwise, but because he's fucking edgy. But here's my biggest problem with this movie. Okay. The pacing is bad. This movie feels like it needed to be 3 hours. How long did this... I heard this movie was almost 2.5 hours or something like that.
112 minutes.
Oh,
2 hours.
It's about 2 hours.
It's not even 2 hours.
Not even 2 hours.
It feels like
damn close.
Hours.
But no, I was actually going to say the movie feels like it's 60 minutes because it doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
It's literally like he gets the symbiote at like a fucking solid hour and a half in. Yeah. It feels like, and then the symbiote kind of takes him over. It's kind of like a funny symbiote, which is like in the comics, Lethal Protector, some Todd McFarlane shit. But then all of a sudden the symbiote's like, "I like Earth. and then they go, and then they fight the guy in the symbiote. There's no like anti-hero moment for him. He's just evil, and then he's good. He likes
the character
humans,
arc
but he never really does it except for evil people.
The character arc literally takes place off screen over like 60
No, it
seconds.
happens when he's on the Empire State Building.
Yeah,
he's
but
on
it's
there, and
like-
he's like, the world's actually kind of beautiful. I'm going to try to help you defend it.
Well, don't forget,
Then
the
Riot
reason
can
he
fight.
decides to protect the Earth instead of taking it over with his friends is because he's like, I'm a loser just like you, Eddie, and we can be losers together, be the strongest losers.
Yeah.
He's basically the fucking...
When he fights Riot, I'm like, he gets to Musk Industries or whatever it's called. He gets to the Tesla factory, and he's like, we're gonna fight evil Indian Elon Musk. And I'm thinking like, wait, it's the end? Like the last scene, he's like, I'm a good guy now. It's like all he says is I'm a good guy now, and then he's at Indian Elon Musk and they fight and he dies and the movie's over. And I'm like, wow, that movie actually felt spectacularly short. Maybe it's because I'm used to the 3.5 hour superhero movie like fucking Zack Snyder makes, but I was like, wow, that's it? Like I feel like we're missing a whole third act. Like it feels like it goes first act is there and it's most of the movie. Second act kind of exists. The first half of the second act exists, and then the last half of the third act. Like it's like instead of a character arc, it's like the arc starts happening, and then it just shoots up straight, and then it just goes straight down, like to the lowering action. But at the end of the day, like this movie really felt like it was missing a middle. And one thing that really bothered me is Riz Ahmed says, have a nice life, Eddie, and he kicks him out. Next scene, he's talking to his boss at the Daily Bugle or whatever the fuck. Have a nice life, Eddie. Have a nice life, Eddie. 2 scenes in a row ended with it. Swear to God. Somewhere in that variation. It was such a similar ending to both scenes that it pissed me off, but I don't know. The effects looked pretty fucking awful. Venom did kind of look accurate to like Lethal Protector, and Venom's a weird looking character. I don't know how you translate him to screen and make it look good, but I don't know. I guess it was okay. The effects. Tom Hardy could have been a decent Venom. He did kind of sound a bit like Michael Jackson once he turned white.
What's up, Mrs. J?
What's up, Mrs. J? I'm a thriller man. No, I don't think this movie deserves a sequel. I think it could have used Spider-Man. And I'm sick and tired of fucking superhero movies. I think they suck. So I thought this movie sucked ass. Aiden, what are your thoughts on Venom?
Venom has a very bad opening where, like, the opening is absolutely boring as shit, and it's just Eddie Brock walking around, hunchback in Notre Dame. Like, for some reason, Tom Hardy's American... like acting as an American includes him walking like the hunchback.
Is he not American?
With like no, he's British. He walks with a weird hunchback and talks like a little Girl Scout the entire movie, like a little girl. Once Venom comes in, the movie actually does become a bit better because I think they kind of pulled off, kind of not like spectacularly, but they kind of pulled off Venom being a little bit goofy and trying to. He's kind of like, I don't know. I don't want to say Deadpool as like an example of something good, but he's kind of like goofy evil, kind of like Deadpool, where he's like, you kind of get a chuckle out of him being
anti-hero type of deal.
Yeah, you kind of get yeah. So it doesn't really make sense that the other symbiote landed in China, and like all the scenes of that are just like pointless filler. And I honestly think it's lame as fuck that he went up against another symbiote, and I don't really understand why Riot didn't just leave him behind instead of picking a fight, because Riot could have just came back with all the symbiotes. And also the post-credits scene where they set up Woody Harrelson as
I couldn't sit through the post-credits.
the post-credits scene. Woody Harrelson is going to be Carnage
No, I
in the
know.
next movie.
I heard about that.
And it's like super lame,
which isn't
like,
happening. The next movie's not existing.
It's super fucking lame because it's like, this movie already featured symbiote versus symbiote, so doing that again is like, I don't know. I don't feel like it's gonna be interesting. It wasn't incredibly
what are you gonna do with the
interesting
Venom
this time.
franchise but make him fight symbiotes? He doesn't have any fucking villains
I don't
except symbiotes.
The movie, I'm kind of divided on it because I feel like it should have been either they should have gone like the hard R route, because being PG-13 hurt this movie no matter how you look at it. But they should have gone either full edgy and just had like Tom Hardy himself said a lot of shit got cut out, and I assume that's mostly like Venom eating people.
Probably Venom eating people.
They either should have been
swearing half the third act, half of the second act.
They either should have included a lot of that shit and made it kind of like semi-horror, or they should have gone like violent, campy, like
Well, you said the funniest moments of the movie were cut out.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming it was more like
because
hard R shit.
It could have been pretty interesting if it was R, but as a PG-13 movie, it's kind of like, it's just kind of a waste of the Venom property. And knowing that symbiote versus symbiote's coming up again,
it's not gonna happen. Venom 2 is never coming out. This movie fucking
and it's
failed.
Like, I don't know. I can't even. They made a Spider-Man spin-off that can't legally feature Spider-Man, and it just feels like feels kind of like
the problem is they couldn't feature the Spider-Man, so it'd be confusing.
It feels like a cheap fucking, I don't know. It's a cheap fucking Sony Pictures movie, and as it goes, it's better than most Sony Pictures movies. But it's just like, even still, it's just an average cape shit movie, and there's way too much fucking cape shit right now.
I agree.
If this movie came out at a time where there was less cape shit, like if this came out alongside Iron Man, I'd probably kind of enjoy it, honestly, because it's like it walks the line of being like goofy, dumb, fun, and a little bit kind of edgy, like Iron Man 1 was, like in the same way Iron Man 1 was, where Iron Man 1 isn't edgy, but he kills people, you know?
Does
he
shit.
runs around killing the fucking
here's what
Muslims.
I'll say, dude. I think this movie feels a lot like Fox's Fantastic Four reboot, where it's just like,
a little
this
bit.
might have been a good movie, but it was just gutted like a fucking fish.
Yeah.
By the studio.
Overall,
maybe it was good.
It's just like
originally. Who knows? It's hard to say.
I don't know. It feels like this movie was flawed from the beginning, making a Spider-Man spin-off without Spider-Man, and I didn't entirely hate it, but it's not like good enough that I'm ever probably gonna rewatch it.
No, I definitely will never see this movie again. I'll never sit through it again.
So Connor, what would you recommend Venom?
Obviously not. I thought the movie was fucking horrible. I thought it sucked.
I wouldn't recommend it either. Obviously, it's mediocre.